We are live. What's going on, everyone? Thank you all so much for tuning in at this time. Everybody that's here, I really do appreciate it. Anybody watching this on the replay, thank you so much. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Whew, man, first off, hell of a game. That was an excellent game. Excellent game. I really do. I love the game. It was fun. Now, as far as me personally, that took years off my life. I mean, my heart is still, look, I'm literally shaking still. Like, dude, man, that game just stressed me out, man. Stressed me out. Like, the Lakers did everything they could to lose that game. Man, D'Lo made up for it. He sold two straight possessions and then hit that huge three. And, man, this was, I'm not going to lie, when LeBron got fouled and went to the foul line, I like the play. I like that he didn't settle. I like that he drove to the basket, and I was hoping he would have finished. I'm kind of upset he didn't finish that because when he went to the foul line, I'm not gonna lie, I was scared. Like I was petrified. Dude, I'm like literally sweating. I'm like sweating like a madman, screaming at it. But seriously, what a game. Congrats to LeBron for hitting those free throws. Those are clutch free throws. But he's notorious for missing free throws down the stretch. But we had a good free throw shooting time period, or good free throw shooting game period. But man, this just, whew. All right, sorry, I'm just trying to settle in for a moment because I'm dead ass. That game took like 10 years off of my life. Whew, but great games, right? Again, not the game I wanted to see from the Lakers. You know, really looking at it, that third quarter was atrocious to say the least. Darvin Ham was terrible this game. I mean, there was so many like WTF moments, right? There were so many moments where I was just like, this is crazy. Like, come on, what are we doing here? What was it? The first overtime? Like, why do you put Reeves? Why is Reeves even on the court when he's like your worst defensive player? Why isn't Jared Vanderbilt on, in the game? Why don't you have like your defensive guys? I would have even rather had his baby daddy, Torian Prince on the court. I would have rather had that than Austin Reeves. At least he's a veteran with, good, more size. He's disciplined. He's probably not going to make that poor choice of just jumping. This game was just frustrating all around. But, there were some good things and some bad things, right? Jared Vanderbilt continues to just be fantastic. Credit Jared Vanderbilt. We hit timely shots. We hit key shots. D'Angelo Russell continues to be great. He was good all game. But shooting-wise, he really struggled to begin the game. He started 1 of 8 or something like that, or 1 of 6. And then turned it around. He had our first 5 points of the third quarter, which he had 9, and then he just took off in the fourth. And credit to him, because I saw a lot of people, right? Oh, this is why keep blah 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 blah. And once again, he was great. He was fantastic. Anthony Davis, give AD credit, right? He looked like he was struggling, toughed it out, got in the game. Clearly he wasn't himself, but still made some big clutch plays, some big clutch moments, getting some key rebounds, things like that, and just kind of gutted it out. You love to see that. Problem is, he's probably not going to play the next game, right? It's probably what's going to happen, and we are terrible without Anthony Davis. But, again, some good takeaways from this game and some bad ones, right? Again, Darvin Ham, this might have been his worst coaching game of the season, which is saying a lot because Darvin Ham has had some very bad games. But he was terrible. Terrible decision-making. Terrible with the rotations, right? The Warriors subbed out Steph Curry, and you can't sub out Austin Reeves? What are we doing here? It's just, there was just so many of those, little moments. It was frustrating. I do think that there was a couple key things, like the Anthony Davis getting swatted in the face. What? Where was that flagrant? You got to make that call, right? Or at least go review it. At least take the time to review it. if you decide it's not a flagrant, so be it. But at least take a moment to go review it. Because if that was a flagrant, the game's over, people. Like we're not stressing this game out in a 2 overtime game. That was frustrating. Vanderbilt, I think you have a real argument that Draymond, that should have been an offensive foul on the Steph 3. But again, credit LeBron James, credit everybody. But let's dive into the box scores, and then we'll get into all your super chats and all of your questions and stuff like that real quick, because we have 415 of you. Hit that like button. Let's get the likes up, a couple hundred. Hit that subscribe button. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate all of you here. All right, let's get into the box scores real quick, and then we'll dive right into all of the questions, all of your super chats, all of that stuff. I'm sweating like a pig over here, man. Man, that game was so stressful. But anyway, diving into it, Torian Prince had a terrible game. I did like that Darvin Ham didn't play him. He only played 24 minutes, which sounds like a lot, but considering there were 2 overtimes, he didn't play in the 30 minutes. That was good. I'm glad about that because he had a rough game. LeBron James was unbelievable. 14 of 25 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 6 of 6 from the foul line, 20 rebounds, which is a career high for him, which is crazy to think 20 rebounds is a career high for LeBron because he's had some high rebound games over his career. 12 assists, 36 points, triple-double. Anthony Davis, again, gutted it out. I love to see it. I love the toughness. 11 of 24 from the field, 29 points, 13 rebounds, including 3 offensive, 3 assists, 4 blocks, and he played 44 minutes. Even with the injury, he played 44 minutes, which is crazy. Austin Reeves was terrible again. Dude, that guy tried to sell so many times. Austin Reeves was selling. He's just rough, man. Like, again, if you look at the surface, you're like, oh, he gave you 17, 6, and 2 with 2 steals. Like, he didn't have a bad game. He was a +4. Like, Reeves must have been really good that game. If you watch the game, he was bad. Like, bad. 4 of 14 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3. Played 46 minutes. I don't think he should have played 46 minutes. D'Angelo Russell in 48 minutes, 8 of 19 from the field, 5 of 8 from 3, and made up for those 2 poor turnovers. I was fuming at those turnovers. But credit D'Lo for having the poise, the confidence, right? The confidence of you just made 2 terrible decisions that just cost you the lead and very likely would have cost you the game to pull up with confidence in transition. I'm not a big fan of like that you're the only one pull up in transition 3. I prefer when players slow it down and let guys move up, right? If D'Angelo, it's one of those things where like if D'Lo makes that, he's the hero, right? Which he was. D'Lo, you hit it. Woo, D'Lo, my guy, let's go. But it's also one of those things where if he misses that, everybody's like, fire that guy, get rid of him, trade him. He's trash. 2 straight turnovers. You hit the 3. I love the stepping in confidence. I love that he hit the shot. I just didn't like the shot selection. But again, that's neither here nor there. He made it. He's the hero. But in general, just something that that kind of irritates me. But credit D'Lo. He was unbelievable. 28 points, 1 block, 2 steals, 5 assists, 3 rebounds. And look, he was 0 of what? He was 0 of 5 or something like that from 3-point range, or 0 of 4 and finished 5 of 8. And then he started the game like 1 of 8 from the field and finished 8 of 19. He was in the second half, he turned it around and got right back to the guy he was. Jared Vanderbilt, man, that dude is ridiculous. 4 of 7 from the field. He's just so good at cutting to the basket. His hands have been better this year. They're not as good as I want them to be, but they're better than last year. So I guess that's an improvement. But he's been really good as like that backdoor cutter because teams just forget about him. But just the hustle plays, the defense, all of that stuff. 14 points, 4 steals, 5 assists, 9 rebounds, including 2 offensive, 4 of 7 from the field. You love to see that. And he hit his free throws for the most part. He missed 2 free throws, but Jared Vanderbilt, it's not like he's this premier shooter. So I'll take that. Rui Hachimura was 4 of 4 from the field. He only played 17 minutes. And Christian Wood, I wish we would have gotten more Christian Wood this game. He was 3 of 4 from the field, 8 points, But I loved his aggression. I loved his physicality. I loved the way he attacked the paint and got at guys. But anyway, let's dive, because there's a ton of you in this live stream. So let's get in all the super chats, and then we'll dive into the regular stream and all that stuff. So, all right, starting us off, Kevin, thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate that. Why do the Lakers do this to me? Right there with you, Kevin. Seriously, I'm still sweating and like shaking. Like, that game stressed me out, man. It took like 10 years off my life. We won, but 80 and Reeves just hit the free throws. I feel like that's why I was saying earlier when I first started the stream, the Lakers did everything in their power to just give this game away. They did. The Lakers tried to sell this game hard. But we got the win, so I'll take it. But also, D'Lo, take care of the ball and the clutch, please. Agreed. Like I said, he made up for it with that three-point shot, but you can't be turning the ball over like that. You just can't. You gotta be more decisive with your decision making. If the play isn't there, don't force it. Let LeBron establish position, whatever. It's not like you're at the end of the shot clock or something. You still have time. Make the right play, make the right pass, slow the ball down. You just can't afford those turnovers. Again, D'Lo hit that huge three, but I don't like that. You know what I mean? He made up for it's one of those things. What have you done for me lately? Yeah, I turned the ball over twice, coach, but I hit the big three that won us the game. I love that. You're right. You did. Today, you're the hero. But that easily could have went the other way. And then if you pull that shot in transition with nobody back and you miss that, now we're all on here. Everyone's in the chat saying trade D'Lo. Everyone's in the chat saying D'Lo's trash. But luckily he did it. Luckily he was big for us. But Kevin coming in hot with another one. Appreciate you. But that three D'Lo hit was wild, and Legoat bailing us out at the end. Now let's keep building. Oh yeah, refs should have called a flagrant one, Andre, for that foul. Agreed. That should have been the flagrant. We shouldn't even have been in the position to where this game goes into overtime. I mean, granted, got to make the free throws, but going on the assumption he makes the free throws, the game's over, right? So I mentioned this earlier, like, at least go review it, right? Even if you don't, like, it's too big of a play and too big of a moment, right? You have to at least go review it. If that was a play on Steph, they probably would have went and reviewed that. That's the problem. Is like, you got to at least review it. If you go and review it and you see that and you say it's not a flagrant, well, tickle me purple or whatever, like, I don't know what to tell you, but you got to at least review it. That drove me crazy. And that D'Lo three was wild. Like I said, he's the hero. He was incredible this game. He was. Even when his shot wasn't falling, he was still very good, right? He was still making plays, getting guys going, right? Hitting key moments, right? He was finding the cutter. Him and AD's work is really good. Making the hockey pass, the hockey assist. D'Lo was very good all game, but his shooting really came around in that second half. Now we got our first 5 points in the third quarter, and then just really exploded in that fourth. I don't like the way we played that third. Got to stop doing that. We got to put 4 quarters together. It's frustrating. You did great in those first 2 quarters. LeBron took us home to end the half, and then you come out and they went on, a 25-5 run or something like that? Like, that's just inexcusable. Inexcusable. The Lakers are consistently inconsistent, and it's incredibly frustrating. Lewis, coming in hot, the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You saw yesterday that Luka gave the Hawks and Murray 73. I mean, it wasn't just Murray. Murray wasn't on him 90% of the time. And when Murray was on him, they switched. I watched that entire game. Like, every time Murray was on him, he went and switched. Like, go look at, like, when he got to 73, Murray's on him defending him. They set the pick, and then he goes through the pick. The guy comes to help, and then Murray comes to trail. Like, they kept trying to rotate Murray off of him. Again, Murray hasn't been great defensively this year. But, like, I've seen a lot of people kind of, like, make that point. Like, oh, Luka gave Murray 73. And it's like, he did it. He probably gave Murray, like, maybe 10 of that 73. Because there was other guys defending him multiple times. And then every time Murray was on him, he, like, rotated on it. But, I mean, look, if somebody scores 73, that's on the entire team. That's not on just like one individual player. Like you getting 73, everybody's defending him and he's cooking everybody. Look, I've expressed my issues. I've expressed my pros and cons for DeJounte Murray. Do I think the Lakers should trade for DeJounte Murray? Sure, yes. I'd prefer to keep D'Lo and trade Reeves, if I'm being honest, but that's not going to happen. They're going to end up trading D'Lo and go get DeJounte Murray. Fine, go get DeJounte Murray. So be it. If he can be some variant of San Antonio DeJounte Murray mixed with the shooting of Atlanta DeJounte Murray, then the Lakers are going to be very good and are going to be in a very good position. If he's the current DeJounte Murray, where he's not very good defensively, can't finish very well at the rim, his pull-up game is great. His shooting off the dribble is great. He's in like the 75 percentile or 80 percentile in that regard this season. He's been really good this season in that regard. But it just depends on what DeJounte Murray we're getting. I do think he'll be bought in. I think he will be focused. I do think he'll be impactful. But time will tell. We'll see. Andrew, coming out the $2 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Reeves and D'Lo have to go. Incredible. D'Lo was fantastic. Reeves, not so much. Again, like I think that they should trade Reeves. They're going to end up trading D'Angelo Russell. I just think, man, like trade Reeves for Murray and get a good look. Right? You probably could keep your first round pick. Go have a starting backcourt of Murray and D'Lo. Give you 5 games to see what that looks like. If it looks great, just keep it. If it doesn't, then trade it. I understand all the financial implications and all that stuff. But look, the Lakers are locked up either way, right? To me, trade Austin Reeves, keep your first. Now you have Rui and Gabe Vincent with another first in a couple seconds. If you end up having to trade D'Lo, then you can trade D'Lo, and there you go, right? And if D'Lo keeps playing this way and you add in DeJounte Murray, all of a sudden the Lakers are probably one of the top 3 teams in the league. Assuming you get some variation of 3-and-D, or not 3-and-D, but two-way DeJounte Murray, a guy that can score but also defend, right? And just tell D'Lo, like, hey, guess what? You know, you're shooting 20 shots a game, keep that up. There you go, right? That's kind of what I think should happen, but they're probably going to trade D'Lo. Dustin, coming in hot with $2 super chat. Thank you so much. If I'm Pelinka, I'm trading AR tonight. I have been on the trade AR wagon. Again, I love AR. I like AR a lot. I think long-term, he does make sense. He can continue to evolve, continue to grow. You know, maybe this is just a bad year for AR, right? A lot of people that are like, you know, part of the AR, like keep AR team, you know, they're holding on to last season. But again, we have more games now at this point. We have as many, if not more games of him being bad as we do. I shouldn't say bad. He hasn't been terrible. I do think some of it has been blown out of proportion, but I think some of it is very fair, right? He's been nowhere near the guy he was last year on either side of the basketball. So to me, it's like, you know, look, if you trade AR and he goes to Atlanta and he becomes an all-star and he's balling and he becomes a 25-5-5 guy, so be it, right? Good for him. Good stuff, right? But more likely than not, Austin Reeves is closer to his ceiling than he is his floor. And look, I think Austin Reeves in the right situation could probably go get you 20 to 25 a game, right? If his three-point shot was falling this year, he's been terrible shooting the 3 ball. If his 3 was falling this year, he would be a 20-point game a guy for the Lakers. Problem is he can't shoot to save his life this season. And so my concern is you're going to trade away your best 3-point shooter to pair with a point guard, and now you're going to be trusting Austin Reeves to turn his 3-point shooting around. If he doesn't turn his 3-point shooting around, you're in trouble. Now you just gave away your best 3-point shooter. And we're already bad shooting the 3 ball. Imagine how bad we're going to be if we end up trading the one guy that's hitting like 7 a game. Like, we're going to be in some trouble, but I don't know. Time will tell. All right, let's get into this other chat until we get to the super chats, until we get some more in. Draymond, for the win. luckily, that didn't happen. I thought we were going to lose when Curry hit that big shot. I did too. Not gonna lie, as soon as Curry hit that, I was like, "Oh no, there it is, there it is." But hey, LeBron came through, hit the clutch free throws. Freaking AFX game. I'm telling you, I'm sweating. Like I could do my hair right now with how much sweat I have. What a game though, EFX. Tyler, do you think Anthony Davis is capable of having a 100-point game? No, not Anthony Davis. Just because, he's more at the rim. I think Bubble AD maybe in the right circumstances, because he was shooting like 40% from three, right? So like if he could shoot threes with consistency, then yes. He's averaging. He's giving you like 30 every other night or every night on pretty much all twos. So if he had a night where he's just hot and doesn't miss, and they feed him the basketball, I think he could get close. Like I could see AD score in like a 70-point game. 100 is hard. The only way I see somebody scoring 100 points is like a guard, right? Like I think Steph, if he was hot enough in a game and he actually took the shots, I think he could get to 100. I think Miami LeBron, not this LeBron, but Miami LeBron, right? Like 2013 LeBron, who might have been the greatest player we've ever seen. Whether you think LeBron is the GOAT or not, however you feel about LeBron, 2013 LeBron was arguably the greatest season by an individual player we have ever seen, if not the greatest individual season we have ever seen. That LeBron, where he basically was unstoppable and he shot like 42% from three or whatever it was, that LeBron, I think, could have gotten 100 points if he actually wanted to. I made a video about it on As It Stands Sports. I would appreciate you guys going and checking it out. Maybe I'll add that to like a community post or whatever after the live stream. But I actually did a whole video on As It Stands Sports about players scoring 100 points in a game, because I actually do think it's possible. And I don't know if it'll happen now, but look, the way guys are evolving and the three-point shot is becoming so prominent, right? Like Steph Curry seems like unfathomable. It's like, that is crazy. I wouldn't be shocked if there's like a handful of Steph Currys at some point in the league. Because again, guys are becoming more athletic, becoming bigger, becoming stronger, becoming everything. Like Victor. If Victor gets a legit three-point shot, like he's a guy that maybe could go off for 100 if he got the shot attempts. That guy is basically like San Antonio's fifth option, is giving you like 25 a game. It's crazy. But more likely than not, if somebody breaks the 100 record, it's gonna be a shooter. It's gonna be somebody that comes in the league that is like LeBron's size, that just is draining threes, right? And I know that sounds crazy to think like, oh, LeBron with Steph Curry's shot, but that's kind of where the NBA is going, right? I'm not saying it's going to come anytime soon, but I wouldn't be surprised in the next like 5-10 years we get some guy that's like 6'8", 240, 250, that's just like incredible shot. Some of these foreign players are like ridiculous from three. So I do think it's possible, personally. I'm sick. I'm with you, Trevor. That was crazy. Yes, sir. Yeah. Straight screen by Draymond. Yeah, agreed. Game of the year, EFX. Yeah, that game was crazy. Typical Warriors. Yeah, moving screen. I wish they'd call a moving screen once. Imagine LeBron missing his free throws at the end of the dude. I was so scared that was going to happen. Like genuinely. We got the win. Yes, I love it. LeBron won us the game. Yeah, he did. Definitely. But man, I was petrified. When he got fouled and went to the foul line, I was petrified. Not going to lie, I wanted LeBron to miss the second for a 3 OD. I didn't. I don't think I could have taken anymore. Huge road win. Yes, facts. The rest weren't superb, but those gritty wins are huge for team building. Agreed. I'm right there with you. This was a much needed win, hard fought win. I like that kind of stuff. Andrew, coming out the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. The Warriors are not a good team. That is true. We have to improve. If we had Levine Caruso, this game, oh my goodness, we would have dominated. I agree. the Lakers would have been. If you had that other guy, we would have been massive. Like imagine Caruso, like even just Caruso. Imagine Caruso instead of Austin Reeves. I think we win this game handily. Um, but man, it was this game was crazy. Look, Lakers still need to do a trade. They still need to go figure something out. Good thing is we're over 500 finally, right? And the next 2 games or whatever are very winnable. Um, and I really think we need to win these games. I do, because then you go into Boston, and then you follow that up with who is it? Is it Pelicans? Who is it? Can't remember what I'm talking about. But like your first 2 games in February are like 2 tough road games, so it's going to be tough. But yeah, we gotta play better basketball, man. We really do, and hopefully we have a trade sooner rather than later. I'd love a trade. I'd love to go get DeJounte Murray before we play Atlanta. I don't think that they're going to make the trade by then, because does Atlanta really want to see DeJounte Murray? Probably not. So if a trade happens, it probably happens. Like I wouldn't be surprised if it happens like literally the day after. Like the day after we end up playing the Atlanta Hawks, boom, DeJounte Murray's a Laker. Because I do question of like, are they going to trade him before? But we'll see. We'll see. But appreciate you. Trade Darvin in for Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. Right, if only. Reeves, you were lucky Braun got fouled and made those free throws. Good Lord, what a game, EFX. What a game. Yeah, great. This was a hell of a game. Yep. Curry almost gave me a heart attack. When Curry made that shot, I'm not going to lie, I thought it was over. I was hoping LeBron would put his head down and go finish, but I didn't think that they would give him a foul because they love to just not give LeBron James fouls. And then secondly, when he did get the foul, I was like, LeBron's going to miss at least one of these free throws. Like genuinely, like that's what was running through my head. I was like, LeBron's going to end up botching one of these. And he ended up hitting it. So good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, LeBron had a crazy stat line. Great win. Beautiful game. Felt like the playoffs. Yeah, this was game of the year. Yeah, Ham was atrocious. Ham was awful. I said this earlier. This might have been his worst coaching game of the season. And that says a lot. A lot. This was just his decision making was awful in this game. Awful. All-time classic, yes. I'm going to die if I keep watching this team, EFX. Green playing dirty. Yeah, definitely. Like he had a couple I was like, dude, give this guy a flagrant and get him out of the game. Legault, yep. I wish you did a watch along for this one. I do too. I do need to get the watch alongs back. It's hard because like especially like these games, the 7:30 ones are easier, but like any time before that, it just gets tough. Because I got like my kids and all that stuff, and it's rough. I got to play dad. LeBron is clutch and always has been. Yeah, I mean he's a clutch player in NBA history. Great fun game, yes. Goat James. You still want to trade LeBron? I've never understood people that say that stuff. It's the silliest thing to me. Like every time I see somebody that's like, "Oh, we should trade LeBron," to me they're just trolling. Grandpa LeBron is still the king as stands. His grandpa legs are on fire. EFX. Dude, that guy's gonna be hurt for like a week. Shout out D'Lo. Yeah, D'Lo was incredible. His game was fire. Yes, Ham is super trash. Ham was awful. Again, this might have been his worst coaching game of the season, which is crazy to think about. Was not a fun game, especially for Bell Fox having to witness greatness. Yeah. Oh wow, yeah, this is great. This is a game for sure. Tyler, do you think the Lakers and Warriors are a real rivalry? Like Lakers and Warriors, no. LeBron and the Warriors, yes. Like the Lakers and the Warriors have never really been good at the same time. Right? Like the year that the Warriors won, we didn't even make the playoffs. We had like injuries and all kinds of stuff, right? And then like when we won in 2020, right? Like the Warriors ended up like that was the year that like everyone was hurt and stuff. And I just personally, I wouldn't really call the Lakers and Warriors a rivalry. LeBron and the Warriors, definitely. Our resilience paid off. D'Lo is well-focused, great shot after the turnovers. Yeah, he definitely made up for it. But like I said, I mean, that was one of those things where, like, if you miss that, you're the villain, and everyone hates you. If you make that like he did, you're the hero, and he just saved the day. The refs couldn't decide who they wanted to win the FX. Yeah, seriously. Like, God, this was a terribly on both sides. There was a couple like just blatant bad calls that went the Lakers' way, but there was a couple bad ones, like atrocious ones for against the Lakers. You can't draw up a play, AFX. Draymond moving screen on that Curry three. Yes, agreed. LeBron broke Kareem's record. Yep. I mean, every game he's breaking somebody's record. Don't trade D'Lo. I am with you. That game was exhausting. Yeah, to put it nicely, that was exhausting. D'Lo, man, 3 turnovers on 2. It was clutch, man. What the? Yeah, that was again. He saved the day, but you can also argue. I mean, you can argue, and it's not like there's no pushback against it that D'Lo sold and then righted the ship. Like he didn't really save the day. He just kind of, I mean, he saved the day in the fourth quarter, 100%. But like that overtime, like he sold and then just like, all right, let me make up for it. That's all he did. You know, it's like he just he missed the jump and came back around. That game should have been over with Green did the flagrant foul on 80. Agreed. Do we really trade D'Lo, bro? If we do, I'm not a Laker fan. They're gonna end up trading D'Lo because it's not about his play; it's about his salary, his contract. Which again, if Lakers are good, you trade DeJounte Murray and you figure it out with D'Lo. Andrew coming out the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. D'Lo's fast break decision making in crucial moments is why I say he has to go. Even at 3 in the clutch, D'Lo always makes the worst decisions. That is one thing I will concede. Like D'Lo decision making on fast breaks is not the best. But that's why I kind of like the idea of like keeping D'Lo, trading Reeves, and going and getting DeJounte Murray. Because then in those situations, you're giving the ball to DeJounte Murray, and now D'Lo's your shooter. I mean, D'Lo loves to just do that transition pull-up 3. And when he's on and he's cooking, it's the best shot in basketball, right? Like, but the problem is that, like, again, like I mentioned earlier, if he misses that shot, everyone has their pitchforks and torches, and everyone's ready to go and just go ham on him. No pun intended. But he hit the shot, so again, he's the hero. Congrats, D'Lo. You the man today. But yeah, I do agree. Like his decision making in transition it's like he doesn't know where to go with the basketball, right? Like, and his quick decisions making skills aren't the best. It's just not his game. But that's why I think like if you got a DeJounte Murray, again, in those stretches, you're giving the ball to him and he's just going downhill. And then you'd have D'Lo to space the floor on the kick out. That's kind of my thoughts on that. But they're going to trade D'Lo. They're going to end up keeping Reeves, unfortunately. And, my thing is like, what else are you going to get? And I think that they need to trade Rui. I really do. Like, you're not playing, like, you're paying Rui $17 million plus a year to have him play 17 minutes. So he's basically getting a minute per million. Like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here? Like, either he's a key part and he's playing and he's getting significant minutes, or he's not. The problem is as long as LeBron's on this team, he's never really going to get the opportunity. So why hold him hostage? Let him go to a better situation. Go get some pieces that actually make sense for this team that we can use to kind of put around the guys we get, and we'd probably be better for it, right? So I don't know. Time will tell. We'll see. But Bradley coming in hot with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm not a TP fan, but let's be honest. He was awful on both sides of the ball. I think we should trade Reeves and TP. I think we could pair D'Lo and Murray. Look, I would be all for that. I like the idea of keeping Torian Prince because Torian Prince has been one of our best three-point shooters, and he had a bad game today, but he's been rather consistent as far as hitting threes go. And he's shooting like the best percentage he has of his career, and he has like this occasional bad game or whatever. My problem is the role that he plays. Right? Like, again, I don't like the role that if you want to start Torian Prince, you need to move Reeves to the bench. Right? Look, I would have no problems with them starting Prince if Reeves goes to the bench and is the sixth man, and you go D'Lo, Reeves, Vanderbilt, and LeBron and AD. Right? Don't get me wrong, Prince does have, I'm not saying he's the best player in the league, but he does have good qualities that the Lakers need, primarily three-point shooting and he's hit some big shots. He's not afraid of the moment. He's a veteran, right? Like, again, Reeves shouldn't have been in that. I would have rather had Prince at the end of that game defending Clay than Reeves, right? Prince, again, bad game. Don't get me wrong. He was bad on both sides of the ball. I'm with you 100%. But obviously, if you could trade Prince and get DeJounte Murray, then I'm all for that. Go do that, right? 100%. I'm not saying that. But they're probably going to end up trading D'Lo. And if you trade D'Lo, Prince is your second best three-point shooter. And to me, you kind of need him. But my thing again is like, okay, then move Reeves to the bench. And don't play him 40 minutes a game. Not Reeves. I'm talking about Prince. I like Prince on this team. I just don't like the role and the usage that he gets. Right? Like, he should. I'm all for, if you want to play him 15 to 20 minutes a game as just like an off-ball scorer or off-ball shooter, and when LeBron and D'Lo are on the court, fine. That's great. But he shouldn't be playing 30 plus minutes a game. I mean, there's games where he's playing like 36 minutes. He's not a 36-minute a game player. He's just not. Right? Him in a role for 15, 20 minutes, and you're just driving and kicking, and he has the green light, and he gets to take 8 threes. He's going to hit 3 or 4 of them a game. He's going to go get you, 10 to 12 points a game, and then you sub him out, and he did his job in the 15 to 20 minutes that he played. That's my thing. But if you could trade Prince and Rui for Murray, I would do that in a heartbeat. Especially because Prince, like, again, he's not a long-term salary, so you don't have to keep him long-term. But Lakers are going to end up trading D'Lo. I would prefer to keep Prince just to kind of be a secondary shooter, because now you have no other volume three-point shooters outside of Prince. So, but again, if you kept D'Lo, you would have that. I just don't think they're going to keep D'Lo. But again, appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you. Why is Reeves on the court? Yeah. Darvin Ham is the reason Lakers fell behind in the third. Bad coaching. Yeah, I agreed. This might have been his worst coaching game of the season. Game of the year, to be honest. Yeah, I agreed. Game of the year. Oh my gosh. Yeah. This was a stressful game for sure. Don't trade D'Lo. I really don't want them to trade D'Lo either. A lot of bad things in game 47. Yeah, there was a lot. There was some good takeaways, but there were a lot of bad takeaways in this game too. And guess what? D'Lo's still getting traded for Westbrook 2.0, but whatever, right? Yeah. Again, it depends on what kind of Murray you get. If you get some combination of like San Antonio Murray with Atlanta shooting Murray, then the Lakers are going to be really good. The Lakers are going to be very good. Problem is, I don't know if that's going to be the case. Yeah, on that Curry shot, he absolutely did. Clay News, Reeves' defense was trash. Yeah, go watch the playoff series against the Warriors. I've talked about this several times, where people are always like, well, D'Lo in the playoffs. Like, people just completely forget about Austin Reeves in that Warrior series. He was literally unplayable the first like 3 or 4 games of that series. Klay Thompson was torching him. And like people that's completely out of people's memory. Like Klay Thompson has abused Austin Reeves every time that they've played. Every time. That D'Lo clutch 3 is the reason we win yet. What's going on, LeCap? This team would have a lot better record if they had a good coach, or at least a competent one. He's just Darvin Ham's been god awful. Let's make a marginal improvement. Go get Bruce Brown. Problem is, like, who are you giving up? Because the Lakers aren't going to give up Bruce for him, and I don't know if I'd give up Bruce for Bruce Brown. This game is the definition of the season for getting back above 500. Yeah, this is a great example of that. Agreed. Darvin Ham sucks at drawing up plays. Shaking my head. Yeah, he was atrocious this game. Ooh, shoot. Let's see. I coach better than Darvin Ham at this point. I think everybody does. My 4-year-old coach is better than Darvin Ham at this point. Once again, I don't want to hear about trading D'Lo with it. D'Lo played more minutes than everyone, as he should have. He was very good this game. We don't have enough, to be honest, bro. Yeah. When Golden State complain about the inadvertent whistle when it favored them. I almost lost it. Yeah. Uh, it's hilarious. Now, the refs in the first half were actually horrible. We barely beat a terrible Golden State team, which is concerning. But I mean, they're at home, they're desperate. Um, Lakers played ball. The Lakers only won that game because the referees stop. Stop. Just tell us you didn't watch the game. D'Lo was a major reason for the victory. Just saying, yeah, absolutely, 100%. Trade Ham instead of D'Lo. Lake Show, what's going on? I appreciate you being here. Let's see, Steph, nothing without his moving screens. Game of the year. Yep. D'Lo wasn't getting touches during the first half. I mean, he took like 6 shots in the first quarter. He just wasn't hitting them. Let's see, D'Lo. Don't trade D'Lo. I don't want them to trade D'Lo either, but they're going to, unfortunately. What's going on, Daniel? Appreciate you being here. LeBron with a 30-20-10 triple-double. I don't see how people say he's not the GOAT with the versatility he brings on both ends. I'm with you. Look, I'm on record countless times saying that I believe LeBron James is the greatest player to ever play the game. But, you know, that's the problem. It's discretionary. It's opinion-based. Yes, that was a football block for 3 by Draymond. Yep, can't trade D'Lo. I am with it. Not doubling Curry on last play in double overtime when everyone knew he was going for 3 is insane. They tried. I mean, when you're allowed to commit offensive fouls, like you can argue Anthony Davis should have probably closed out and stepped out, especially with Steph, but he was already too deep, right? Like he's hitting that shot. He's not missing that shot. But they tried. I mean, when you're allowed, because what would have happened? So the idea is Draymond sets the screen. What's going to happen is Vando's going to come around. He's going to have to fight through that screen, which is going to cause Curry to drive, which now you have the trap point with Anthony Davis and then Jared Vanderbilt closing out. And then you put the ball in somebody else's hands and make close out. But when you're allowed to commit an offensive foul and literally shove a guy to a ground, all of a sudden, it's kind of hard to trap somebody when one of your guys just got ran through by a linebacker. So again, I don't blame anybody for that. I blame the refs for not making that call. Right? Like I get you want to let them play on, but how do you double team when the opposing team is allowed to just run you over? You know. Salute. What is going on, Gideon? Appreciate you being here. Trade Reeves for Murray. I am with it. Vando definitely got felt. We are terrible without AD because we don't have another reliable center. That's why we need to get another reliable center. Problem is there aren't any other reliable centers available. You're looking at like a serviceable one. You're looking at like a Gafford or a Nick Richards or something like that. Like they're serviceable. They're not like super reliable. I mean, it depends on what your definition of reliable is. If you have kind of a loose definition, then yeah, Nick Richards, Gafford are reliable. But if you're looking for like a legit center that you could even start alongside Anthony Davis, you're probably not going to get that. I'm not saying you can't start Nick Richards or Gafford, but you're probably better off just keeping LeBron at the 4 at that point. But I do think we need a serviceable backup center. And then when Draymond slapped LeBron in the face, ice in his veins must stay. Yeah, that dude is a bad man. Awful. Lakers still won. The refs were horrible. Yeah, this might have been, in my opinion, this was Darvin Ham's worst coach game. Absolutely his worst coach game. He's had very bad games this season. Don't get me wrong. So that says a lot that this was his worst coach game. He just did everything wrong, in my opinion. Like everything. What a spectacle. Yet had everything. Mike Breen, excuse me, Bane calls clutch shots on both teams and some clutch defense. Yeah. D'Lo had back-to-back turnovers, made up for it. Yeah. Refs are bad both ways. Agreed. I said the same thing earlier. Reeves should not be on the court when Warriors need to tie for 3. Shaking my head, Ham. Agreed. Again, I mean, literally anybody. You could have put anybody. Put Jalen Hood-Schifino in. I don't care. Literally anybody but Austin Reeves on the court when he's literally been your best defender and Klay Thompson and everybody's been cooking him all game long. You want to keep him on the court. Like, I would have been fine. Like, Max Christie, Jalen Trevino, the guy sitting on the bench eating nachos. Hey, dude, you want to play for the Lakers for 30 seconds? Like, I don't care. Anybody. Like, literally, you could have had anybody in that spot, and he stuck with Austin Reeves. The Warriors took out Steph Curry. Steph Curry. They took Steph Curry out of the game to put in defense. So you're telling me you can't take out Austin Reeves? Like, God. Ham is awful. Russ were disgrace. Green fouled Vando at the end. Great needed win, yes. The challenge by Ham, like 50 times, you could have won. And he picked the most obvious foul. Yeah, but that I'm not gonna lie, that kind of worked out. That worked out huge in our favor because they iced Wiggins on that. It was Wiggins, and he missed both free throws, and he was like 3 of 3 before that. So it by dumb luck, it paid off. Like, I don't think that was the idea. Like, I think if you asked Darvin Ham, that wasn't the play or the move. But it actually turned out to be a very good challenge. But yeah, it wasn't the. I wouldn't have challenged it at that point. I think that there were several other moments in this game, but at least it kind of through dumb luck pulled out. I cannot breathe. I'm telling you, I was literally like shaking and sweating. I'm still sweating. Like, that game was stressful. Thank our lucky stars the D'Lo took it yet. Hot take: if we can trade Prince for a better player, not only will we improve the team, but Ham will actually have a good rotation. The problem is like, you're not going to get anything for Prince. He's only making $5 million this year, so you're not. Again, I like Prince. He's been good for the Lakers for the amount of money he's been being paid and the role that he's supposed to play. Problem is, he's not playing that role. He's playing like he's Klay Thompson out there, and he's not that guy. So, terrible coaching. Agreed. D'Lo absolutely made up for those turnovers. Agreed. I agree. You got to start Vando instead of Prince, or if Darvin Ham loves Prince so much, I am totally okay with starting Prince. If you want to start Prince at the 2, Vando at the 3, and then bring Reeves off the bench as the 6th man. Perfect. Austin Reeves is better in the 6-man role. Let him be the 6-man role. You're so in love with your baby daddy and Torian Prince. Let your baby daddy run the 2. And then there you go. Now you got D'Lo, Prince, Vando, LeBron, and AD. You got a little more size. He's been not a great defender, but he's been better than Reeves. So you got shooting. He's also been a better shooter than Reeves. So you got better shooting. You got slightly better defense. You got slightly more size. There you go. Like, it's a win-win for everybody. Darvin Ham gets to keep playing his guy and keep starting his guy. He did almost ruin it and made up for it. Right? Like I mentioned earlier, he makes that. He's the hero. We're celebrating him like we are. If he misses that, everyone's in this chat right now going trade D'Lo instead of trade Reeves. Prince with the big donut, yeah. I mean, he only took two shots. So, he took 2 shots. So, I mean, for him to go 0 of 2, and he only took 1 3, he was bad in other ways. It wasn't so much just his shooting. How can you let Curry get wide open 3? Terrible coach. That had nothing to do with the coaching. Look, like I mentioned earlier, Darvin Ham, worst coaching job of the season. Curry getting wide open for 3 had nothing to do with Darvin Ham. Nothing. It had everything to do with Draymond Green being allowed to just basically truck Jared Vanderbilt. I have to defend Darvin Ham on that. As painful as it makes. Because Darvin Ham, again, this was his worst coaching game of the season. But that had nothing to do with Darvin Ham. Again, we can't just be throwing out stuff. We got to keep it in perspective. I'm all for criticizing people, but let's not get carried away. Imagine Murray with D'Lo. That's what I'm saying. I would love to have that. That flagrant should have been called. Bro, I know we gave up a 2 in double OT. They can't win in triple OT. Double Curry, yeah. I don't know how we stayed in that game. The way we performed in the third quarter, Draymond had his best game of the year. Damn, he was looking like old Draymond. Yeah, he was incredible. Credit Draymond. We did. We won the game. But yeah, Draymond. I mean, Draymond, Clay, and Steph all. I mean, Steph had his struggles shooting, but man, Clay really picked it up towards the end of the game, or second half of the game, and was just huge for them. Like they were looking good. Um, Murray is better than Reeves. Trade Reeves, bro. I'm with you. Ham needs to have the balls to bench Reeves in the fourth. How many times we got to say it this season? I agree. I am right there with you. Why keep Reeves on the floor during that play with Thompson? Again, your guess is my. Ham today was so bad. Off rotations and decisions. The LeBron 80 Wood lineup gave us Warriors work. He should have ran that. Keep Reeves on the floor. Defense, come on, one, bro. Yeah. Again, this was, in my opinion, this was the worst game of the season. D'Lo is the hero for OT. Yep. I would say Legoat deserves the next game off, but AD is probably going to have to be out. Yeah, that's the problem. Look, if AD, this is my opinion, just my opinion. If Anthony Davis has to miss the next game, sit LeBron too. Just sit them both, because we're not beating anybody without Anthony Davis. We're just not, because we have literally no one else to protect the rim, no one else to do something. And what's going to end up happening is the only way you're going to win that game is LeBron James puts on the superhero cape, turns back the clock, and is Superman. And to me, it's not worth one game. It's not worth it. I'd rather you just rest him, give LeBron the night off, give AD the night off, and maybe you get lucky and D'Lo and Reeves and everybody just has themselves a game. Maybe Rui's cooking. D'Lo goes off for 40 and you pull out the win. That would be my hope. Now, if you're going to play AD, I think you should play LeBron. Right? I think you should go for the wins. But again, if you have to sit AD because his groin or whatever, if you have to sit AD, there's no point in playing LeBron, in my opinion. Right? Because you might as well just give them both rest. There's the rule that you can't have both your stars sit the same game, but LeBron James is the only player in the league that's exempt from that. So the Lakers can't. The Lakers can sit LeBron and AD. I just wanted to clarify that in case somebody goes, well, you can't sit both of them because the new NBA rules. LeBron James is the only player that's exempt. So you can. You can sit LeBron and you can sit AD. So I believe if you're going to sit Anthony Davis next game, you might as well sit LeBron. Let them get like 3 days of rest, and hopefully they're back and ready to go for the next game. Hit the three and made up for his prior mistakes, unlike Reeves. Yes. D'Lo from the North Pole, FX. Awful, utterly awful on defense. Didn't make up for it on offense. He only did something because he was in the game for too long. Yeah. We were up 3 and have players defending the point. Our paint. Sorry, idiot coach. How Reeves missing free throws? Yeah, facts. Reeves choked the free throw line, which was not good. He's got to hit those. D'Lo's worst game in a while, yet his defense and playmaking was still up to par. This game hit some clutch, timely shots, man. What a game. Yeah, I mean, this was his worst game in a while, and he was still very good, which says a lot, right? I mean, he was not the D'Lo we've seen the last 2 games or last 10 games or whatever it's been. But man, he really turned it on. For a bad game, he was great, right? Like if these are his bad games, the Lakers are going to be in good shape. Ain't trading Reeves. Your guess is as good as mine. Well, to be fair, I do know the answer. It's just contract. Literally, that's the only reason. Because the Lakers either A, have to overpay D'Angelo Russell, and then now they're in the second tax apron, which they're going to be in the aprons anyway. Like, one of the things that, like, okay, so let's say you didn't make any trade and you had to overpay D'Lo. You're not going to pay him more than DeJounte Murray is going to make next year, which is my problem. It's my frustration. It's like, okay, so everyone's worried about paying, like the Lakers are worried about paying D'Lo because of financial implications, but Murray's going to make what, 25 million next year? Like, so again, you're going to be in the same boat. You're going to be in the same thing. So my thing is like, obviously if D'Lo wants like 30, 40 million, then no, you tell him sorry, buddy. But like, I think he would be okay with getting like 20 to 22 million a year if he got a long-term contract, right? Sign him to 4 years, 80 million, right? I think he would stick around. Or 4 years, 100 million. I think he would stick around, genuinely, right? Like, you could even, if you wanted to, like, structure it to where he gets like the balloon payment this year and then it like just drastically drops each year. So as Murray's contract goes up, D'Lo's goes down. And then also that would make D'Lo more favorable to trade as the season goes on. And you get to look, there's ways to do it and be creative if you want to be creative. And I see a lot of people talking about the financial implications, but I just don't see it being that big of a deal. And if D'Lo continues to play this way and we go get DeJounte Murray, he's not going to be worse than Austin Reeves has been. So now you're talking, if D'Lo can keep playing the way he's playing, and you add in DeJounte Murray, who could go give you 28 and 8, you're telling me the Lakers aren't going to be that much better? Of course they would be. And you'd have that point of attack defensive guy. You take so much pressure off of Murray, right? You can put the ball in his hands, let D'Lo play off ball. The problem is if D'Lo and Murray don't work, now you're kind of stuck. But again, you'd have time to look at that and evaluate that. But I don't know. There's ways around it. I just think what's going to happen is they're just going to end up trading D'Lo. D'Lo better than Reeves yet. He has 100%. Vando was unbelievable, man. My heart dropped when he went down the last few games. He's proved key and use and him. Draymond, that's kind of started me. Agreed. Vando has been A1. Those 3 straight turnovers needed to be timeouts by him. They were so gassed. Well, you couldn't have used timeouts. You only have like 2 timeouts in overtime, so couldn't have done that. But I do get your point. Vandalorin, a solid DFX. Christian Wood got 10 minutes after a solid first half display. As Ham got a problem with him. Seriously, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Why can't Prince why can't Rui take Prince's minutes? Because he can't. Like he can't defend quicker, twitchier wings. And LeBron has to play the 4 at this point of his career. Like LeBron can play the 3 in spots, which is where like you see Rui and LeBron kind of play together. But the problem is like Prince, he can play the 2, he can play the 3, you can even put him like at the 1, and have like LeBron or somebody at the point guard, where Rui is basically a 4 and that's it. You put him at the 4 and that's all you got. So Vando should start over him 100%. Agreed. Or like I mentioned, if you want to keep Prince in the game or you want to put Prince to start, then fine. Start Prince. Put him at the 2. Bring Reeves off the bench. ABC had their hands all over this game. Replay can go back and look and take a point away, but not Clobber's AD face take, a foul take going on with the Lakers. Yeah, unfortunately, the rules don't work like that, which is frustrating. Yes, we won. We did. We won, which was crazy. Prince scored 0 points. That's not acceptable as a starter. Ham needs to start Vando. I mean, again, he only got 2 shots. If he took 10 and scored 0 points, I'd be a little more frustrated. Again, he wasn't good this game. But I mean, it's kind of hard to like when you don't get shots. I mean, how many points is he supposed to score on? Because if he would, let's say he goes 2 for 2 from the field and he scores 5 points, right? Everyone's gonna be like, oh, as a starter, you can't, like, you got to do better than 5 points. Like, he's got to get the basketball. Like, Draymond was a plus 31 in 46 minutes in a game they lost. Has that ever happened before? Yeah, but plus minus is a combination of things, right? It's impact of like the units that you're on. Like a lot of people look at plus minus and go, oh, this guy had a good game or this guy had a bad game. There's so many factors that go into plus minus, and a lot of it isn't just individual stats. It's the players that you're involved, the units that are out there, right? Like you'll see guys that played like 4 minutes and they're like a plus 25. And you're like, how the hell does that work? And they have like 0 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 anything. That's why like plus minus can tell you some stuff, but it doesn't tell you anywhere near the story. Like a lot of people like to, oh, well, this guy was a plus 30 or this guy was a minus 25. And it's like, that doesn't mean like, do you know it? And I'm not talking about you, Biba. I'm speaking generally because I get a lot of like, oh, this guy was a minus 30. And I'm like, okay, like, do you understand what goes into plus minus? Or are you just looking at the plus minus going, oh, he's a minus 30. He must have been bad. Like plus minus, there's a lot that goes into plus minus. Like you could be the best player on the team. And if the other 4 guys around you are awful, then you're going to have a terrible minus. I turned off the game. I thought it was over. Well, you missed a hell of an in. You genuinely did. Let's see. Shows his confidence. Yeah. For that man to make 2 bad blunders and put the Lakers in a position to blow the game, literally lose the lead and everything, and to come down with that level of confidence to hit that shot and go, don't worry, I got this. That told a lot about D'Lo. D'Lo's confident. I mean, and he's played that well. D'Lo's confidence is through the roof right now. It is. If his 3 isn't falling, I can't do any. Oh, sorry. D'Lo, almost old. He can't handle pressure, terrible decision making, and crunch time. I mean, he was great all game. I mean, that fourth quarter was crunch time, and he was hitting huge shots. I don't know. I don't really agree with that. He's handled pressure pretty well this season. His decision making at times has been rough, but for the most part, he's been very good. And like, but that's the thing. Like, also, if his 3-point shot isn't falling, like he still does other things. He's been better defensively than Reeves. He also is our best playmaker, right? Like he's had bad games and he'll still give you like 9 assists. Like there's very few guys that'll do that. Like period. I mean, even like star guys will do that. D'Lo has been getting better at these intense moments. Yes. Again, those 2 turnovers, like you can chalk that up to just tired leg, man. Like, you know, I mean, he played the most minutes out of anybody. Again, I'm not trying to justify it. They were bad plays, but you know, he played almost 50 minutes this game. I'm sure he's exhausted. Yeah, like Rebirth said, the Lakers are gassed. Let's see. So when Draymond slapped LeBron, that wasn't a foul. Yeah, there was several of those. And they were almost all on Draymond. When he like swiped on his face or when he slapped Anthony Davis in the flagrant and then also just pushed Vanderbilt down. Rumor out of Chicago has Levine going to the Knicks. I could see like if Julius Randle ends up going down because he dislocated his shoulder. If he ends up missing significant time, I could see them going and making a trade for Levine. Honestly, I could see them making a trade for Levine because I think that I could see them worrying and kind of panicking a little bit and going, all right, we need to make up for him being gone. Aaron needs to be traded for DeJounte Murray. I've been on that for months now, even before everyone was on my side. I was in here on live streams and making videos talking about how we should trade AR and keep D'Lo. And everyone was telling me I'm an idiot and don't know nothing. And now it's just, and I'm not saying you, I'm speaking generally. I got so much like, you're an idiot. You don't know basketball. You're this, you're that, you're the other. And now all those same people are like, keep D'Lo and trade AR. And I'm like, I thought I was an idiot. I thought I didn't know what I was talking about. But, you know, hey, when a guy starts playing the way he's playing, people change their minds, right? It's what have you done for me lately? But, yeah, it was frustrating. Sean, coming out $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Can we just please get Levine for Reeves? I still am on Team Levine. The problem is like there's no clue if he's even going to be able to play. So he's out for at least another week. And I think it was Shams reported. Somebody reported, I think it was Shams, reported that there's concerns that his injury is worse than what was originally reported, which is like he just basically had an ankle sprain. they're thinking there might be a tear in his foot. So the Lakers they're not going to trade for LaVine. As much as I want, I look, and I'm team LaVine. I think LaVine would be dynamic on this roster, and he could keep D'Lo, right? I actually wouldn't mind trading for LaVine and Murray, right? And because for the long term play, I wouldn't hate that. But the problem is the Lakers there's just too much around LaVine right now that the Lakers aren't going to take the risk. Because you trade for him and then he can't, and he like is out for the remainder of the season because he has like a tear in his foot or something, then, or he does, or like let's say it's like worse, but he tries to play and now he tears it. The Lakers, their season's over and they just basically traded everything to go get LaVine. So personally, as much as I want LaVine in a Laker jersey, I just don't see it. I just don't see the Lakers taking the chance because they just can't afford it. Right, you get Zach LaVine. Yes, if he plays and he's great and he gets back to being Zach LaVine, Lakers are going to be terrifying, especially if he can keep D'Lo. But problem is there's just no. It's too much of a question mark right now as far as he is. I'd rather them trade Prince than Reeves. I wouldn't, because again, Prince is only making $5 million. Reeves is making 12.5, something like that. And also Reeves has the most value, and Prince is still needed. Prince has been the better three-point shooter. He's been better defensively. He's bigger. Again, it's the problem isn't Prince. The problem is Darvin Ham's usage of Prince. That's the big problem. Let's see. Doris Burke is awful. Dude, she was glazing Kuminga and the Warriors all game, especially Kuminga. I agree, trade Reeves. Reeves has to go. About the inadvertent whistle, they don't even know what is happening yet. Trade Prince too. Again, I'm all for them. No, I don't believe anyone on this team should be untradeable. Like nobody. Even as much as I love D'Lo, like if the right package comes along, the right trade comes along, you do it. No, like the Lakers have Austin Reeves like he's Michael Jordan. Doesn't make any sense. Now, maybe part of that is just leverage, right? Part of that could just very well be like, hey, we don't want to show our hand. We don't want to sell our cards right now, right? We want to kind of up the price and then at the last minute kind of, turn Reeves in a couple things. That could be a possibility. Let's see. That ABC broadcast was horrible. Yeah, agreed. It really was. See, I don't agree with DeJounte and D'Lo because they both operate their offense from pick and roll, and also LeBron does that to just keep the team and go get Royce O'Neal or something. What the thing is that LeBron has shown more willingness to play off ball, and like the beauty of D'Lo is he can shoot, so you can put the ball in LeBron's hands and then allow him to shoot. If DeJounte Murray can still shoot 40%. Then you'd have that. And not just that, you could always have a ball handler on the court at all times. So you never have to worry about your offense getting stagnant. You never have to worry about like any of like the Lakers issues right now. Because it's like, okay, well, D'Lo's going to go get some rest. LeBron's going to get some rest. Murray's in the game. Okay, Murray's going to get some rest. D'Lo's in the game. Okay, D'Lo's going to get some rest again. LeBron's in the game. And LeBron is so good at playing off ball. He would just be willing to play off ball more. So, I don't hate the idea. My biggest concern is that a lot of D'Lo's success right now is the ball is in his hands. And he's actually getting to run the offense and play his brand of basketball. And my concern is if you get DeJounte Murray, the ball's going in his hands. And yes, D'Lo is excellent to play off ball, but does he start having a bit of a slip? Right? Now, it depends on what the slip is. Right? If you get DeJounte Murray, you don't need D'Lo to give you 30 a game. If he gives you 17 a game, that's perfect because now D'Lo would be your fourth guy. But does he end up dropping to like 12 a game? Now that becomes a problem. AR is begging to get traded. Reeves, D'Lo, a first for Caruso, LaVine, and Drummond. If Murray trade is a facade, I'm hoping Bulls are pin to give up Caruso, to get off Levine. Just thought, again, I would love that. I would be all for that. Problem is again, with all of the question marks around Zach LaVine, I just don't see the Lakers taking a chance on him. Can you please explain to me why it's so hard for the Lakers to keep D'Lo? I think the way he plays, he deserves his contract because they're worried about getting into the other apron, worried about getting into the second tax apron. And the problem is if you get in that second tax apron, now you have no more buyout market. You have no more exceptions. You basically are stuck with your team. Whoever your roster is, that's who you are. And if you're not good enough, you're basically tied. The thing is, though, to me, is if your roster is good enough, then who cares, right? Like all the top teams in the league right now are all second apron teams. Like all the top teams in the league right now, outside of like the Thunder, but like Denver, the Celtics, like all of these teams are all like second apron teams. Like, so if your team is good enough and you have enough talent, right? At least your front end talent. All you need is vet minimum guys anyway. Like I see so many people that are like, well, if we keep D'Lo and they have to give him $25 million and we have DeJounte Murray, well then now all we can get is vet minimums. Like, what more do you need? You'd have DeJounte Murray, D'Angelo Russell, Jared Vanderbilt, Rui Hachimura, Anthony Davis, LeBron James. You'd still have Max Christie and his new deal. Like, how many players do you need on this team? You're only going to run 8 or 9 anyway. And we should make it as simple as possible for Darvin Ham. We shouldn't have 12 guys on this roster because Darvin Ham can't figure it out, right? So, I mean, again, if you get DeJounte, if you flip Reeves for DeJounte Murray, you're immediately better. You're better on both sides of the basketball. And he's shooting like 9% better from 3 than Reeves is. So to me, you trade Austin Reeves. Now you basically have your team. If you absolutely have to, you let D'Lo go. Like, let's say it's terrible and we're awful and D'Lo and Murray don't work. Well, you can always work out a sign and trade in the offseason. And if you can't work out a sign and trade, you let D'Lo go. It sucks that you ended up losing D'Lo and you gave up Reeves, but you probably could keep your first-round pick. So now you have 3 first-round picks going into the offseason with DeJounte Murray, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. If Donovan Mitchell became available, you would still have Max Christie, who you could work out on a sign and trade. You would have Rui Hachimura. You'd have technically Jared Vanderbilt if you needed to, which I wouldn't trade Jared Vanderbilt for anybody. But like, what if you could get Donovan Mitchell? Well, there you go. Like it would pain for me to see it. But if you could get DeJounte Murray, Donovan Mitchell, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, take whatever you want, right? Like the Lakers would still be in a great position, right? So, and again, there's options. I understand why they want to trade D'Lo. I just think it's overblown. And if D'Lo continues to play this well, because look, 2 things are going to happen. Either D'Lo's going to continue to play this way, and if you go get DeJounte Murray, you're probably a top 3 team in the league, and you're probably in a real position to win an NBA championship. The other alternative is D'Lo doesn't continue to play this way, and then now he has no value, and you can either A, re-sign him for cheap or trade him as an expiring contract. So to me, a lot of people are looking at it as it's a lose-lose for the Lakers, right? That the Lakers are in a lose-lose situation because they either have to overpay him or they have to underpay him. If you win the championship this year, does it matter if you have to overpay D'Lo? Right? And I'm not saying that they will, but like if you go get DeJounte Murray, is DeJounte Murray better than Austin Reeves? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. If you can get the better player in the deal and not have to give up all of your assets, why are we procrastinating this? Go trade Reeves, get DeJounte Murray, and then figure it out with D'Lo. Also, if you got the deal done now, you'd still have like 5 games before the trade deadline to where you'd have time to figure it out and make it work. And then if it doesn't work, well, you'd still have a first-round pick and D'Lo, Rui, and Gabe Vincent that you could package, plus Torian Prince and all those other things, and go get 3 or 4 other players if you needed to. So to me, it's like, I don't see what the big deal is. If either D'Lo is great and he's worth $25+ million, and then at that point, you're paying him his value, or B, he's not, and then he's going to opt in, and now you have an $18 million expiring contract that has value, and you have 3 first-round picks. What is, if you could imagine if you could turn D'Lo into Donovan Mitchell if he does become available, right? I mean, you'd have to give up more than just D'Lo, but like D'Lo, Rui, and 3 firsts, throw in Max Christie, here you go, whatever you want, right? Like, and now you have DeJounte Murray, Donovan Mitchell, Jared Vanderbilt, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. You're the best team in the league. Best team in the league by far. And then post LeBron, you still have DeJounte Murray, Donovan Mitchell, Jared Vanderbilt, and Anthony Davis. Now you're just looking for either a center and put AD at the 4 or a 4 and keep AD at the center. Boom, you're good. Like, so I personally, this is just my thought. And look, I'm just some guy. Now, I'm not an expert. I'm not any of these guys. I have a pretty good understanding of how like the cap situation, the aprons, all that stuff work. You know, and maybe somebody that is an expert in it could tell me I'm an idiot. I don't see it being as big of a deal. Like, people are looking at it as like, well, it's going to be a disaster for the Lakers. But why? If D'Lo's good enough to warrant $25 million a year, that's good for the Lakers, right? Because that means even if you give him a new contract, he's going to have value. If he doesn't and he's not good, then he opts in, and now you have an $18 million trade chip. And you could even get out of the apron if you needed to, right? Like, I don't know. It just, I don't really see necessarily the cons, but that's just me. But, all right, I'm going to power through for about another 15 minutes, and then I'm going to skate on out of here so I can set up videos and everything for tomorrow. Plus, I need a shower. I'm sweating like a pig because of that game. But real quick, before we power through this last 15 minutes, take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Seriously, I would greatly appreciate it. Take a second. You have no idea how much it helps. But let's power through it. Obviously, any super chats get priority. Outside of that, we're just going to power through as many comments as I can, and we'll take it from there. D'Lo redeemed himself. Yeah, AD almost cost the game multiple times. I can't really get on AD. I mean, the guy basically tore his groin and still stayed in the game. This game showed how bad Darvin Ham is. Darvin Ham, again, I said this multiple times, and I still stand by it. This is Darvin Ham's worst game of the season. Reeves is consistently disappointing. Agreed. Do you still want D'Lo traded? I think you're speaking generally, because I have said for a while, you go if it is directed to me, I literally have videos and live streams from like 2 months ago, before D'Lo even went on this like streak, where I was making the argument to keep D'Lo and trade Reeves, and everyone told me I was an idiot. And now all the same people are like, "Oh, we need to keep D'Lo and trade Reeves." Like, you people know who you are. What happened to LeBron's minute restriction? He hasn't had a minute restriction all season. Murray won't be any better than Reeves in terms of shooting, and he can't finish. Trading for him is going to be another Westbrook situation. I also don't see him better on defense. I mean, he's definitely going to be better. He's better than Reeves. He's more athletic. He's quicker. He'll help more in transition. He's shooting 40% from three-point range, which D'Lo or Reeves is shooting like what? He's shooting like 34%. I don't even think it's that much. Like I don't like the idea of trading Murray over D'Lo, but Murray for Reeves, I would do that all day. The D'Lo 3 was big, but he had 3 straight turnovers right before. Yes, he basically just redeemed himself, is what it was. Finally, our second powers guy to LeBron at the end of the game, drive to the basket, EFX. I was so happy to see him do that. That was huge. Bobby, coming out $2 super chat. Thank you so much. I don't like being this close to a 12 seed team. I mean, look, the Warriors at home. Steph Curry played great. Clay played great. Draymond turned back the clock and looked like prime Draymond. No, you expect that. This is a game that they're going to step up on. They're a desperate team. Like, they're desperate. They're at home. They can't afford to lose this game. Like, you're going to have these games. I didn't like this game, right? Like, the Lakers, there was a lot of bad from this game. But to basically be in a rock fight and pull out and end up winning the game, that was huge, in my opinion. To be in these positions, this was a playoff level game, and the Lakers pulled it out. and no one wants to see the Warriors in the playoffs because of games like this. The the Warriors have been bad this year, but they're not Detroit, right? Like if this was like a Detroit game, I'd be a little more upset. Like Steph Curry is still Steph Curry, and he's still unbelievable. Klay Thompson is still Klay Thompson. Draymond Green is still Draymond Green. Those guys can step up for a game to try to beat the Lakers, and they did, and we pulled out the win. I like that. I do, personally. So I'm not too down on this game. Again, there's always good takeaways and bad takeaways from every game, win or loss. But to me, this was a big win. This was a much needed win. Appreciate you, Bobby. Seriously. D'Lo was huge. Agreed. LeBron James was that man. Let's see. D'Lo is worth keeping. He will improve each game. D'Lo's been fantastic. Fantastic. Bobby, coming out with another $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Just joined the stream. What were Darvin's mistakes today? A lot. I could spend an hour talking about his mistakes. But in a nutshell, his rotations were terrible. Lack of timeouts were terrible, especially in that third quarter. Decision-making down the stretch was huge. Like, for example, keeping Reeves in at the end of the game rather than basically anybody. Right? I would have even rather Torian Prince in that spot because at least he has more size and length, and he's a veteran. And he's more disciplined. One of the things that they teach you in elementary school is like you don't jump when you're trying to close out. You stay planted. You stay flat-footed. But again, it was the decision-making more than anything. He just was, in my opinion, this was the worst game he's had this season. Every game he kind of has like questionable games. He's had some good games. He's had some very good games. But for the most part this season, he's been bad in general. But I just thought like every decision he made this game was the wrong decision. Like from the start of the game to the end of the game, I just thought in key moments, in crunch time moments, right? Like the Warriors are taking out Steph Curry at the end of the game for a because they need a defensive stop. But Darvin Ham can't take out Austin Reeves to put in anybody. Again, anybody. Like he's literally our worst defender. Put Max Christie in that spot. Jalen Chifino. At least he's quick, athletic, and 6'6". Like it's just you keep the one guy in the game, which is odd too because he's so in love with Torian Prince. It's just like you would think, like he would even just go with Torian Prince in that spot, but. It's just, it was just the decision making more than anything. But I appreciate it. Forget the players, we need a coach. The problem is there's no replacement available that makes sense. I'm trade Reeves for D. Murray. I am right there with you. I would trade Prince for a better small forward and not AR. The problem is Prince is only making $5 million. So you're not going to what better small forward are you going to get from? I'm really torn on the trade deadline. D'Lo, like every fiber of me is saying keep him, but I feel like we've seen this before. He's been doing this for a while. Like people act like it's only been this like 9-game stretch or whatever, but like even when he came back and he was on the bench, he was giving you like 12 points a game on like 15 to 17 minutes. Right? Remember there was like that 5-game stretch or 4-game stretch or whatever where D'Lo was only getting like 15 minutes off the bench. And he was still giving you like 12 points. So he's been doing this for like a good month and a half, maybe, or a month. And again, he's doing this because they're putting him in a position to do this. I mean, D'Lo said it on Pat Bev's podcast in the offseason. Like last year, I didn't know what my role was, right? Like, am I the point guard? Am I a shooting guard? Like, D'Lo's talked about this numerous times. Like, he's tried to defend the Lakers, where he's like, I'm not a point guard. I'm a basketball player. You can make me do anything, like things like that. But really, he is, right? When you put the ball in his hands and you let your point guard play point guard, more times than not, you're going to have success. And that's what they're doing. They're putting him in a position that he hasn't gotten to have since he's been with the Lakers. They've even favored Austin Reeves. Why is Austin Reeves getting entire units to run by himself and D'Lo doesn't? Is D'Lo your point guard or is he not? So you have your shooting guard in Austin Reeves, who is not good at handling ball pressure, run entire units by himself without LeBron and without D'Angelo Russell, but D'Angelo Russell doesn't get opportunities like that. Like, again, how can you criticize D'Lo and his playmaking at times? And like, look, I understand people look at like the Denver series and they're like, oh, well, he was so bad in the Denver series. Like everybody was. Like, where was Rui in that series? Where was LeBron outside of game 4? Where was AD in like 3 of those games? Right? Like Austin, like people also forget Austin Reeves was literally unplayable in that Warriors series the first like 3 or 4 games. Right? Klay Thompson was busting his ass and he gets a pass. Right? Like, and people also are like holding on to like what Reeves did in that playoffs, but just completely lacks so many other variables. One, there was no tape. Teams, he wasn't on the whiteboard. Teams weren't focused and locked in on trying to stop him. Teams didn't know his moves and what he liked to do and his assignments. They were worried about stopping D'Lo, stopping LeBron, stopping AD. Right? They were attacking D'Lo and going after him on the defensive side of things because they weren't worried about Austin Reeves because they never saw Austin Reeves before, but they know, hey, D'Lo can go off for 30. Right? So now, right, we have as much of a sample size with Austin Reeves this season as we did last season. And he's been terrible this season. Well, not terrible. I shouldn't say terrible. But he's not been anywhere close to what he was last season. Right? Shooting-wise, all of that. Right? So a lot of people just are assuming that Reeves is going to be great in the playoffs when we have one sample size. And in a season in which he just emerged out of left field. We've seen things like that. Jeremy Lin, Linsanity, right? Where is he now? He's still young enough to be playing. He's tried to get jobs. Where's he at? Michael Carter-Williams, Rookie of the Year, averaged nearly a triple-double, was praised as like the next superstar point guard. Where is he? Where's he at? We've seen lots of players like that have had great runs and are never able to replicate it. Now, I think Reeves is a good player. I think he's a blue chip rotation role player. But, like, again, D'Lo's led a team to the playoffs as the best player. D'Lo has his struggles in the playoffs, don't get me wrong, because he does at times have a hard time handling bigger, more physical things. But guess what? He's improved. The Warriors tried to throw that at him this game. They were putting Kuminga on him. Wiggins was guarding him most of the game. And he was able to fight through it. And he still had a good game. Right? Guys can improve. Guys can get better. And people also forget, D'Lo single-handedly saved us in that Grizzlies series. Like, we probably don't win that series if it wasn't for D'Lo. And then did the same thing in the Warriors series. But people just, oh, well, he was terrible in the Nuggets series. Like, yeah, so was everybody. Right? But, like, how come we don't hold, where was Reeves in the Warriors series? Are we just we just let him get a pass for that because he was good in the Denver? So Reeves was good in 2 series and terrible in 1, and D'Lo was good in 2 series and terrible in 1. So they were the same guy in the playoffs, right? So I don't know. It's just it's just a point that I see a lot of people don't make. So LeBron's still above Klay in 3-point. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. All right, let's do a couple more of these, and I'm going to get out of here. Dre was out here slapping dudes. 100%, Sammy. It was driving me crazy. Imagine we got Bruce Brown for D'Lo. We'd have a great point of attack defender and plus scorer to go with Vanderbilt. I mean, Bruce Brown is good. He's not the scorer D'Lo is, and he's definitely not the shooter. But point of attack defender, I like Bruce Brown. He's not worth the $22 million, $23 million. The other concern with Bruce Brown is like you trade for him, and what if he just leaves you next season? So you want to talk about overpaying for a guy, which is another reason why it doesn't make any sense that they want to trade D'Lo, but they're willing to go get Bruce Brown. Now, granted, we don't know if they really want to get Bruce Brown. Or they're just using that as like a tactic to get DeJounte Murray. But so D'Lo, the way he's playing this year, you would not be okay with paying D'Lo $25 million a season next season but you'd be okay with paying Bruce Brown $23 million. Make it make sense. Now you could argue, well, Tyler, he has a team option. Yes, you could void the team option and try to work out a new contract. But if you void the team option, what happens if somebody comes in and says the Lakers can give you $11 million a season? Okay, well, we'll give you a $15 million. We'll give you a 4-year $60 million. The Lakers can only give you a 4-year, $40 million or whatever, or $44 million. Right? Like that's what Indiana did to us. He was going to the Lakers. The Lakers firmly believed that they were signing him over Gabe Vincent. The reason we went and got Gabe Vincent is because we ended up missing out on Bruce Brown, who the Lakers believed was coming. And Bruce Brown is getting ready to sign with the Lakers, and boom, here comes Indiana. Tell you what, we'll give you a balloon payment for a year. And now what? Like, so you go trade for Bruce Brown and you give up D'Lo, and then now you're overpaying Bruce Brown? Like, he's a better defender, don't get me wrong. I love his defense, and he does the dirty work, which is great. But D'Lo, the way D'Lo's playing right now is much more important than what Bruce Brown would give you. Now, if D'Lo resorts back to bad D'Lo, then yes. But I really like Bruce Brown. I would love to get Bruce Brown if you could figure that out. Yeah, I was thinking the same. Let Rui go play somewhere else so he can get more minutes. Yeah, I mean, just for like as a fan of Rui, I want to see it. Seriously, like just for Rui's sake, I want to see it. Trade TP and Cam mainly. This will get Ham not to play anymore. The problem is you can't get anybody. I mean, TP and Cam get you to like $7 million. Like, who are you getting for $7 million? Let's see. All right, let's do like one more page, and then I'm gonna skate out of here. Again, obviously, super chats, I'll take priority. Outside of that, I'm gonna do this last page, and then I'm gonna skate out of here because I've been going an hour and a half, and I need a shower and set up for tomorrow. This is why we need LaVine. His scoring is needed. Desperation shots were crazy. Another note: Draymond is a dirty player, bro. I am with you. Get Caruso and Drummond. We have nonstop. We have no stoppers except Vanderbilt. Look, I would love it, but I mentioned this earlier. The problem is that Zach LaVine, his injury concerns right now are just they're too much. The Lakers just can't risk it. They just can't. As much as look, and I've been Team LaVine for like 3 months now, or I wrote 2 months, whatever it's been, right? But the issue is just like they don't like. No one knows what is going on with Zach LaVine. No one knows how significant his injury was. He was supposed to be back, and then they said he's out for another week. And that's just like he has another week before he gets reevaluated. That doesn't mean in a week he's going to be back. That just means that in a week he's going to get reevaluated. Now maybe he does come back the last week going into the trade deadline, but I just think based on the information we have right now, which again, information changes, maybe we'll have a different conversation. But right now, they're not. I don't see it happening. Ceiling for this team. If we get into the playoffs, I'll take my chances. I have said this from day one. You give me a healthy LeBron, healthy AD, and we've seen this team step up in playoff basketball, playoff atmosphere. I'll take my chances. Now, I wouldn't bet on it, right? Like I wouldn't bet on the Lakers to win the championship, but the ceiling, I mean, is championship, right? We've seen them play excellent basketball before for a game or several games, right? Lakers locked down, focused. They can be the best team on defense and a top 5 offense. We know what they can do when they actually consistently do it for 4 quarters. Come playoff time, I could see them doing that at least 4 games a series, which they probably win all those games. So I would take my chances. The only team in the West that I worry about, like genuinely worry about, is Denver. And it's just because they have the experience, right? And Jokic is still a problem. And DeJounte Murray, every time he is in the playoffs, plays like he's Michael Jordan against us, right? Every day he plays the Lakers, he's second coming to Michael Jordan. So Denver's the only team in the West that I worry about. I think I would take the Lakers to beat anybody else, like 100%. Anybody else. Like I'm not worried about Minnesota. I think we could beat Minnesota. Like, we should have beaten them the last 2 times we play, and one time was without LeBron. The other time we got kind of cheated out. But I'm not worried about Minnesota in the playoff series. The Thunder, we're too big for them. We'd be able to beat them. Clippers, I just don't trust them in the playoffs, right? Outside of Kawhi Leonard, James Harden is known to just completely disappear and vanish. Paul George is known to completely disappear and vanish. Russell Westbrook is only going to play like 6 minutes a game, so I'm not worried about him. And again, Anthony Davis is going to be a huge problem for him. They still are going to struggle with LeBron James, right? Not worried about that. And then who else, right? Like the Suns, I think we run through the Suns. Unless the problem with the Suns is they just always had the potential of like Beal, Booker, and Bradley and KD just shooting like 80% 4 times and you lose. But like you could say that about several teams. Literally, the only team I worry about is Denver in the West. And then the East, I like Boston's tough. I hate to say it, but Boston's tough. So those are the only 2 teams that I think I wouldn't take the Lakers to beat right now. But ceiling is championship. I wouldn't trade D'Lo. I am with you. Yep, Bulls want 2 firsts for Caruso and 1 first, and we take on Levine. Yeah, I would be all for something like that. I see Lakers trying to trade Murray in a year if Lakers trade for him. I mean, that's always a possibility. You never know. Stop trading everybody. Just coach and play ball. I mean, if you can upgrade, you upgrade. Question is just what are the trades? I don't think you just trade just to make a trade, but Flyboy, appreciate you being here. D'Lo out here averaging 17 as a third option. Murray ain't doing that. I don't know. You'd be surprised. There's always the concern of him going and being the third option. Definitely. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, Trae Young has one of the highest usage rates in the entire league. I mean, he's one of the highest usage rates in like league history. Right? I mean, he has like a usage rate like LeBron and AD combined. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if he averages like 17 to 20 a game. But again, you never know till you know. 5-1 road trip. I would love that. We need that desperately. The problem is, I'm just gonna. I'll bring up this last point and then I'm gonna skate on out of here. Real quick, Bluck is right about this though. Need more Christian Woodlove. I am with you 100%. But this is actually the point. So, a couple things that I want to talk about, and then I'm gonna skate on out of here. Obviously, if I get a super chat, I'll answer that. But I just want to pull this up real quick. So, the Rockets and the Hawks, we got to beat. We got to win those games. Sit LeBron too. Like if AD doesn't play, sit LeBron. But let's say everybody plays, beat the Rockets, beat the Hawks. Celtics, probably going to be an L. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers beat them, but let's say the Celtics are an L. The Knicks, is Julius Randle back or not? That's a real question. If Julius Randle is back, then the Knicks have been very good. That's been tough. So that could be 2 losses there. But the Hornets, I think, will be a win for sure. The real problem, I think we lose to the Nuggets and the Pelicans. And here's why. So we play the Nuggets on trade deadline day. The chances are the Lakers are going to be incredibly shorthanded. And then we play the Pelicans back to back. So we play literally the Nuggets and the Pelicans back to back. Problem is you're probably playing both of those teams incredibly shorthanded. I mean, I don't know for certain, right? Because it's like if you just trade D'Lo for DeJounte Murray, then you'll be fine. Right? You just would be out without DeJounte Murray. But if the Lakers make like multiple trades and they go trade Rui and D'Lo and whatever else, then they could end up being like very thin. So that's a question too. But just wanted to point that out and throw that out there. But anyway, I'm going to skate on out of here, everyone. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. Seriously, you guys are awesome. I really appreciate you all. Yeah, hit that like button on your way out. If you haven't hit that like button, take a second, do that. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I greatly appreciate that. And I will see you all in the next one. You guys are beautiful. Appreciate you. Peace.